Hi, welcome to the Reiki Den. My name is Jack. I am the owner and primary Reiki practitioner. I'm also a tarot reader and I do some other spiritual stuff. And I've been getting asked about how, like, just basics on how to use a pendulum. So I had actually filmed a video for my best friend who wanted to learn the basics of pendulum work, and I swear I filmed it in like September or October of 2001. Now here we are, at the end of February, and I have no idea where this video went. I have checked, my Google Drive, in my personal accounts. I've checked my business accounts. I've asked my best friend who received a copy of this video because it was specifically for her and she doesn't have it either. So we're going to go ahead and instead of doing this private video like I did the first time, we're going to do a public one. So if you are wanting to join in and follow along, if you have a pendulum, go ahead and grab it. If you don't have one, grabbing like a necklace or a chain of some kind with something a little bit heavy, like a pendant of some kind, or you can take a ring and hook that on it. That's going to work too. So why don't you go ahead and grab that, and we're going to get started. Okay, so I do need to start this again because, well, my dog interfered and canceled the video and I have no idea where I was. So we're going to start this part again. Okay, so basic use of a pendulum is going to be things like getting yes or no questions answered, or set answers is the thing. Okay, you're not going to get just like big sentences or anything like that, and it's different from tarot in that it's not it works differently. Like, you're gonna deal with single word answers. I know you can get pendulum boards that have like the months on them and like days of the week and numbers, so that you can do like what day of the month, say the 10th, or whatever. I don't use those. You don't have to use those. They do make pendulum work seem a little bit more complex than what it needs to be. So that doesn't mean they don't work, because they do. It's just it's a personal preference. And if you want to try and see how something like that would work for you, you can create that on your own on a piece of paper. For example, you can always like Google pendulum boards and see like the huge variety that is available. And the thing that I like the most about the pendulum, which is kind of canceled out by the use of a pendulum board, is this is Harley. Hello, Harley. It's actually the portability. Like, you can, in this case, since it is a wearable pendulum, I can literally wear this every single day, and then if I need my pendulum for anything, it's right there. Okay, now, like I said, I do use this one for Reiki purposes because of the chakra association with Western Reiki and pendulums. Okay, so this one specifically does get used during a Reiki session to identify which of the chakras are out of alignment and which ones need extra work. So that's like a specific use in Reiki. I don't always just do chakras, but it does help in a session. Okay, so if that's something that you want to learn how to do or to incorporate into your Reiki practice, and you're not sure how to get started, definitely drop a comment below. I'd be happy to do another video on that. I do need a little bit of assistance to do that one. I would have to have a helper to demonstrate. But that's besides the point. So yeah, if you do want to learn how to use a pendulum with the chakras and Reiki, do give me a call. or a call. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's try that again. Drop a message in the comments below. Let me know that that's what you want to see, and I will definitely do that video. In fact, I might end up doing it anyways, so I will keep you guys posted. In the meantime, okay, now that I'm way off topic and I have completely managed to like get away from where I started, okay, I'm just going to move this back around so that you can see what I'm doing with the pendulum. You don't need to see me in order to see what the pendulum's doing. Okay, so we're gonna face, that's Loki's section of my altar, of my shrine space. You can see my little bobblehead Loki over there. There he is. Apparently he wants you to know he's there, so whatever. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is program your pendulum, okay? Well, the first thing you need to do actually is hold it correctly. And you wouldn't believe how many people don't realize that that is the reason their pendulum is not doing what they want it to. Okay, so because this one is long, I do take the extra chain and wrap it up in my hand so that it's not dangling like that, so that it's interfering with the swing. Okay, I'll just tuck it around my fingers however feels comfortable. Okay, the second part is how you actually hold the part of the pendulum that is in your hand. Okay, so you basically just take it and loop it over the top of your finger, just like that. Okay, ignore the extra loopy. We're going to get rid of that here in a moment. But so you see it's just wrapped around your finger, and then you just hold it right in about here so that it's not going to go anywhere. You don't want it falling off your finger, right? You don't want it swinging so hard that it's going to fly off your finger and you're not going to be able to, catch it, or, it really depends. So I'm going to wrap this up again just a little bit because I let it go. Okay. There. So I do have those chains relatively even. All right. The beads unfortunately do not line up. This was a handmade item that was sent to me, so it doesn't quite line up right, but that's okay. So once you have it held correctly, the next part is going to be programming it. Okay. Now, this is something that I personally do before every use. And that you're basically telling your pendulum and the spirit that you're going to be working with that this is what this means. So, if you want to say, yes, I want you to make it go this way. Okay, and that's the biggest part of using a pendulum when it's free use like this. Okay, so what I do is just purposely swing it. Okay, so this is going back and forth from me to the wall. Okay, so it would be vertically, I guess, in a way, if I was looking at a map. Okay, it's swinging north to south. Okay, and that's going to be yes. But then swinging from east to west, that's going to be a no. Okay, you don't have to swing it that hard either. Like just a couple of little swings is fine. Like that's perfectly okay. They do swing pretty easily, so it's not really, it's that weighted stone on the bottom of this one that makes it go. Okay, so we've got yes and no. So now we're going to go diagonal from left to right. Okay, and that is going to be a maybe. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing going in the other angle, and that is also going to be a maybe. Okay, so again, I'm still purposely swinging this just to make sure that, the spirit knows what it is that I'm looking for. And the final one for this particular beginner area is just to do unknown. And that's going to be just swinging in a circle or some semblance of a circle. It might be oval. It might not be exact. But you're just going to let it swing in a circle. That's going to be your unknown. That basically means the spirit does not have an answer for you, or it is not for you to know at this time. Okay, that's why I choose that, because it is important to leave them that ability to communicate that you are not supposed to have that answer right now, whether it's because the spirit doesn't know or because you're just not supposed to know, because sometimes that does happen. Okay, so once you've programmed your pendulum, you want to actually make sure once again that you're holding it properly. Okay, so double check your hold, just make sure everything is good, and then just let it rest. Just lightly. on the table. Okay, so keeping in mind that we're going to be using essentially yes or no questions. Okay, we're going to ask questions that we know the answers to. Okay, so if I say a question such as, okay, today is a Saturday. Okay, so I'm going to say, well, it's resting on the table because you don't want it moving while you're talking. Okay, and just to hold your, like, I rest my arm on the table in the beginning. Once you start actually asking questions, you do want to lift your arm off the table. You are less likely to inadvertently force the pendulum to move the way you want it to. Okay, like this way is really easy because you can put like the slightest movement in your arm and you can make it go. Whereas this way, where your elbow's up off the table, you're holding it nice and firm. See, it's already doing its own thing. Okay, and I'm not doing anything. I haven't asked anything. It's just ready to go. Okay, so let's ask the question that we know the answer to. So is today Saturday? So then you lift it up and just watch it. Now those movements are not likely going to be as big as what you use to program it, okay? But if you look, that pendulum is swinging north to south. Okay, it's shifting because I'm talking. So let's do that without talking because that's going to interfere as well. So you want to ask your question and then, not say anything. So let me go with, let me see. What could we use that would be a good option for a question? Okay, let's go with okay, is Jack a Reiki master? Okay, so that is swinging north to south. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a big movement is the thing. It doesn't have to swing wildly for you to recognize that it's swinging in the direction that you want it to. Okay, that's a completely not, like, it's an unnecessary thing. And it's one of those things that you see like on TV, like for example on Charmed, where they would sit there and wing it around, and then all of a sudden the pendulum's flying across the map, and it doesn't work that way. Okay, so let's ask something that would be a different question. What else could we use? Let me see. I want to see if we can do something that we know the answer to, or that I know the answer to, at least. That would be a no answer. Okay, do I have to work today? Okay, so it is swinging east to west, which if you remember is the no. Okay, so actually that's swinging pretty good. To indicate that no, I absolutely don't have to work today. So the larger the swing, the more energy the spirit that you're speaking with is putting into that answer. So consider like small swings as just yeah, that's true, and larger swings as you're damn right that's true. Okay, like think of it like the amount of emphasis that's being put on the answer is shown in the size of the swing. Okay, so we're going to see if we can do one that is a maybe. Let me see. I can really only use like known answers for questions that are relating to me. So again, you leave the tip on the table, just rest it so it's staying still, and then you ask your question. And as soon as you ask your question, you very gently lift it off the table. Just very gently. And it is going to swing immediately. And you just tap it on the table just lightly just to stop it. And then you're ready to go. Okay? It's never going to be 100% still, no matter what you do. All right? So a maybe is, am I going to get a promotion at work? So now it is swinging from top left to bottom right. And that's a maybe. Okay, so that's a good example. Okay, so we're going to see what we can think of that would be an unknown answer. Okay, I have one. I currently have two grandbabies. They are 1 and 2. And my son and his wife, who are not the two with the grandbabies, just bought their first house. So the question I'm going to ask is, will my son and daughter-in-law be thinking about children, or are they thinking about children in the future? Okay, so again, like, are my son and daughter-in-law discussing children? And that is a big fat none of my business. Okay, that is going, it's kind of oval, but it is in a circle. So there you go. Okay, so when you're done, it doesn't hurt to, say, dip the crystal into sea salt, natron, if you happen to be Kemetic Orthodox, which I know some of the current viewers are going to be. You can put it into, like I said, natron or sea salt to cleanse it. You can leave it out in moonlight or sunlight to keep it cleansed. You do not have to do that every single time you use it, okay? Just if you feel like the answers are getting kind of muddy, or you're not getting as distinct of an answer as you would normally get, like if your yes is not really definitively yes, like it is a yes, but oh wait, is that maybe? That's a good indication that you need to cleanse your pendulum again. If you're not getting anything that's like defined, like if you find it swinging halfway between yes and maybe, or no and maybe, or it swings in a circle but it's still going, north to south, for example. Those are good indicators that it needs to be cleansed. What else can I think of that might be of value? The material that your pendulum is made of is truly, truly personal preference. Okay, I have two chakra pendulums. Okay. This one, like I've mentioned before, I do have another one as well. It's a single chain. It's just your basic pendulum chain. And I do have another one that's specific to a certain goddess that I've worked with for years. And I use that one specifically to communicate with her. And that one goes with me everywhere. That pendulum is always with me. This one tends to go with me quite a bit. I either wear it or it gets tucked into a bag or a pocket somewhere, so that I do have it if I happen to end up needing it for Reiki. So if I'm doing like a distance session, I would be at home. I wouldn't necessarily use this one. I might use the other one. But if I'm going to visit a client and doing Reiki for them there, this would be the one that would go with me. The crystal is personal preference. You don't have to use a crystal. You can. There are some that are made out of brass that are absolutely beautiful. I believe there's some made out of, like, there were the pendant, okay, is made out of wood. They're just beautiful. I have looked at those a few times. But I mean, it's really whatever you like the most. Like I said in the very beginning, okay, the material is so not important, okay? When I was a kid, my uncle decided that he wanted to use a makeshift pendulum to determine how many children I was going to have. I was like 5, maybe 6. Okay. I had no idea what that was about. I was like, how many kids? What? Like it was one of those things where I just couldn't like comprehend what was going on. But I do now. I can look back on that, and it's actually a memory that I'm glad I have. But he used a piece of thread and a sewing needle. And that was it. It was just this piece of thread with a sewing needle that was, about 10 inches or so long. And he had me hold my hand flat like this. And he tapped the needle 3 times against the side of my hand and then lifted it up and let the needle do its thing. And in a case like that, when you're asking, oh, how many kids are they going to have? It will tell you boy or girl. Okay? So that needle told my uncle that I was going to have 5 kids. I was, like I said, I was like 5, 6 years old. That was some scary stuff to hear. So I was going to have a boy, and then I was going to have a girl, and then I was going to have an undetermined gender, and then I was going to have another undetermined gender, and then I was going to have a boy. Okay? So what I actually had was a boy and a girl and a child born female who is non-binary and a miscarriage and then a son. So it was actually like dead on the money. And the way he figured it was swinging back and forth in any direction meant a boy, and swinging in a circle meant a girl. And if it was moving but wasn't really doing anything like specific, like you couldn't tell that it was moving in a straight line, you couldn't tell that it was moving in a circle, or it was doing a little bit of both, those were the ones that were undetermined. So definitely try that if you're curious, to see what kind of accuracy that has. It was really cool. And like I said, it was just a thread, like a piece of thread and a needle. So you can really truly make a pendulum out of anything that you have with you, as long as you have a chain of some kind and something weighted like a ring or a needle to put on it. You're good. If you have a necklace that you wear, like this one has an oil vial and a crystal. So I just put the crystal on not that long ago, but even with the nail vial or with the oil vial, it can still do the same thing. All I have to do is take it off and let it do its thing. So if you wear jewelry, a necklace, you can use that as a pendulum in a pinch. So it's actually one of the most versatile beginning methods for divination. It's very easy to get started. It's very inexpensive to get started. And the more you do and experience with it, the more you're able to make it your own. Okay, and this is where we come back to pendulum boards. Okay, some people really like them. They use them to to provide a date, right down to like the day of the week, or June 15th you're gonna meet your soulmate. Like you can get answers like that with a pendulum. But when you're speaking with deity and you're just wanting to have a conversation and you're just wanting to discern whether the spirit that you're speaking to is truly the one you think it is, pendulum is hands down one of my favorite methods. So I think that's it. This ended up being way longer than I expected, but it is also way more detailed than the initial video, which I'm totally happy with. If you do have any questions or comments that you'd like to make, anything that you'd like to see me do other videos on, please do drop a comment below. Feel free to make those requests. We are dealing with a brand new channel, and yes, this is for the Reiki Den as a channel, but it is also my channel, and it's about what I do in my business. And I do tarot, and I do pendulum readings, and I do house blessings and clearings, and of course Reiki. And there's so many different uses for Reiki. It's not just like healing your chakras. Like that's what I talked about today, but there's so many different things that you can do with it. So that's the gist of getting started with a pendulum. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. If you're watching this and it's still the weekend. Otherwise, I do hope that everything that you're doing brings you joy. Mwah.